Where this has come really handy with a paranormal investigation is being able to see all the way around. Welcome to Mike's Morning Mug, where we talk about the paranormal over a mug of coffee. So what I wanted to do today was a bit of a tech review. As many of you know, we have moved to filming some of our videos in 360-degree virtual reality. So this has been a very, very cool experience in which you get to see all around you in the place that we are investigating. We've also done a couple of walkthrough videos. The walkthrough of the Swift Mansion Gore Orphanage area. We did a cemetery walkthrough in conjunction with an investigation. We later did a live investigation from there. And then of course there is our big investigation at a historic home in Jacksonville, Illinois. That was really our first big production with the 360 VR. We also have one coming up at the Ferry Plantation, so be on the lookout for that. So let's get into it. What are we using here for equipment? We're using the 360 Fly 4K 360 camera. So it's, my friend Jared Osborne says that this is HAL from 2001 Space Odyssey.
Hello, Dave.
So what do you get with this? Well, of course you get the 360 all the way around. You get 240 over the top. You also get to record in 4K resolution, which works really, really well outside. Indoors with low lighting, it's still a little grainy, but if you have good lighting indoors, then you still get that 4K resolution. So very, very versatile, actually. You're looking at this and you're just seeing this little round ball, which they made it like the eye of a fly, which is why they call it 360 Fly. But it's actually has quite a bit of weight to it. So it's actually pretty versatile. They also made it waterproof. The only real place here where I can get in and is the little hole, the little pinhole here for the microphone. So one of the common complaints with this is poor sound quality. That does not record very well when it comes to the sound. So what we've been doing is simultaneously hooking up an external mic, and basically when we go and do the editing, we overlay the audio from, just basically a digital audio recorder, or if we're running another camera at that time, over the top of the audio for this. So I believe there are some repercussions to that. So what else do we have here? Well, in the kit that I bought, okay, you get the little, I know it's kind of funny, it's just this little round case that fits right in there, right? What came with the 360 Fly, of course, this is the charging base, which is kind of interesting. So it sits basically in this little round ball. It's magnetized, and it's almost like a little dish that it sits in. Of course, it hooks up to USB, which goes right into your computer, so it can charge off of that. Generally, I charge it with a wall charger, and what'll happen is this little button right here, this will light up different colors depending on what you're doing. If you're charging, it'll blink green on you. Blue is just more of like a standby mode, or even if you're accessing through the phone app, and then red, of course, is for recording. Now, the way this does connect is actually through your phone. So there's an app for that which connects here via wireless. Other accessories that came with this particular package, I actually got the little bag with this, and I'll put a link down below in the description section for the setup that I have here. Little tripod mount, which actually the way I end up using this, I do set it down on tables from time to time, but when I'm walking around, I actually just mount it on here, and it has a standard tripod mount. I'll just mount it on there and walk around basically like I'm holding a torch, is kind of the way I've described it. It's kind of funny. A couple other things in here. It does have a mount for your car, and also you can hook it up to some GoPro accessories if you have GoPro accessories. This also came with a cleaning kit. There's another little tripod in here, the little wipes and all that. So that's kind of the basic little kit here. I do call this, a budget 360 camera. It works very well. A lot of other setups, like your GoPro setups, you have 6 GoPro cameras, which are already kind of expensive, and then the mount itself, which is just a piece of plastic, is like $80. So that's an expensive setup, up to like $1,500 for that whole setup. Now with that one, you do get full, not only 360 all around, but 360 all around over the top and under as well. With this particular camera, you don't get underneath. And so something I've said in a couple of the videos is like, well, you can't see my feet, but do you really need to see my feet? Where that kind of came as a hindrance was at the Swift Mansion ruins, which is also known as the Gore Orphanage, where everything was on the ground. So that was a little bit more difficult to try to film with objects that were on the ground because I couldn't, film down there. So I was trying different things like, holding it up over my head and things like that to try to show everybody on the ground. We have thought of before mounting, some of these to ceilings, like getting a few of them, mounting them to ceilings and seeing what we'd be able to get from there. Now, something that's been really, really great with this for a paranormal investigation is the fact that you can see all the way around. And I'll go ahead and mount it here real quick. It says it's recording. You see that? For some reason, it's blinking red at me. Where this has come really handy with a paranormal investigation is being able to see all the way around. Normally, when we're on an investigation, we have a camera pointed in one direction. Maybe we have a couple others that are set up in the room. But, for instance, I'm in a hallway with Shauna, and this is on the video that we did for the historic house. And normally, I'm talking to Shauna, I have the camera pointed at her because we're having a conversation and I want the camera to be able to pick up on that. Well, in this case, I was holding this out in front of me, looking at her, and we heard something come from the room that was to our left, my left, her right, in any case. So instead of doing the whole, oh, what was that, sort of thing, this was able to pick up on that. Also, there was another time later on within that video in which I had left the room. I was getting a light bulb because we had one light bulb up there for 2 different lamps, and then we had another lamp that was in another room that we had on. So I had walked out down the hallway. Shauna was sitting on the couch, and I thought I saw everything just suddenly go dark and then come back on. I was like, did the lights just go out? Shauna hadn't picked up on that. She had actually heard a noise instead. And sure enough, because of the nature of this camera, because we just had this sitting on a coffee table and filming all the way around, it was actually able to pick up on the lamp in the other room going out for just a moment. So it provides for, in a paranormal investigation, every angle that you could possibly imagine except directly underneath. So it's picking up on a lot of things that we wouldn't normally capture on camera. For the app, because that's basically how you control this, is through the phone app. So in order to connect, you have to connect wirelessly, like I said before. Choose my wireless connection. Now it's connected, and I'll go into the app. So I'm in the app here, click on the little fly button. It says it's recording, which you can actually hit the button here on the front to start a recording. All right, so we're connected. I have a low memory warning because I have a bunch of footage on here from the fairy plantation. But, as I move it around this way, you can kind of see. So basically through the controls on here, you can start recording. You can actually upload, you can do some different things on here. You can do some file management and all kinds of things like that straight through the app. Yes, you can go live with this. I know people that have done it. I have not gone live with the 360 cam as of yet, but you certainly can do that through Facebook or what have you. This does also have its own desktop app for importing videos that you may want to, do a little editing on or uploading after the fact to places like YouTube. Now, something that's really great about this, as opposed to using something like the GoPro setup with 6 different cameras, is that there's no stitching that you have to do. It's all recorded in one straight shot like this. Of course, like I said, you don't get the underneath, but you don't have to worry about any of that stitching, so that's a big major step that's eliminated for you in the post-production aspect of this. So through the app, you can do some clipping and trimming and things like that. Basically what I do is I use my video editing software, which is Sony Vegas, and I edit within there and then render it back out. Now, I do believe that I lose a little quality by doing that, so I'm still playing around with it a little bit to try to understand how I can keep that true 4K quality after editing it within Sony Vegas. Of course, I am using the 4K settings in that, but still, you know, once you start playing around with files and rendering and all things like that, things change. They get modified. So then I take that file that I've created in Sony Vegas, and it takes a long time to render these videos. And you gotta keep in mind, okay, this has 64 gigs of memory on it. A lot of the files that I've been using and playing with that I've recorded off of here are 14, 15, 16 gigs large. So it's a memory hog. So once I start rendering those files in Sony Vegas, and I'm taking a large file and I'm basically rendering back out into a large file format, this is taken up to 9 hours before, sometimes 5 or 6. The shortest I've had so far is like 3, okay? So these are very, very large files. They're gonna take many hours to render, so keep that in mind when you're dealing with files off of something like this. And that's even after, on a couple of those, reducing it down a little bit. If you go full bore, you know, the highest setting qualities that you can get off of that, you're talking 9+ hours. And we're talking like, you know, the video itself is not even an hour long, okay? So these are shorter length investigation videos that, you know, okay, we have a couple out there that are, you know, 20, 25 minutes long. Those are the ones that were taking like 5 hours to render. So it's pretty big. It's a hog, okay? And then of course, if you're uploading to something like YouTube, you have to consider the amount of time that it takes to upload as well. So all of this is almost like a full day process just to get one of these videos going up there. I've taken entire Sundays to do these sorts of things. Now before actually uploading to YouTube, you have to bring it into the 360 Director desktop application. And instead of, they do have an option there of converting and uploading out of the application. However, after the conversion process, because the files are so big, I've had problems uploading from that application. So I did contact 360 Help. They were very helpful and told me basically just run through the conversion in the 360 Director app, and that'll load in all the metadata and all that stuff that that the file needs in order to upload to YouTube. What this will also do is actually shrink down the file size in the conversion as well. So some of these files that were many gigs large were reduced to, you know, just a couple. And so that made the upload time a little bit shorter going up to YouTube, but still lengthy, of course. So once that conversion is done, you just take your file, upload it to YouTube like you usually do. YouTube will actually recognize that as a 360-degree video just from the metadata that's within it, and it will take care of all of that in the processing up there on YouTube. Again, it's going to take a little while, but it will recognize that's a 360 video and set all that up for you so that when your viewers go to take a look at it, that it will show up properly for them, and they can use their phone, they can view it on the computer, what have you. They can use the goggles to actually view that video. So great tool for paranormal investigations, another way to view and look at an investigation. We're definitely looking forward to doing more videos like this to give our viewers that full panoramic view of an area that we're investigating. Something else I want to talk to you real quick about while I have you is that the new Encounters with the Paranormal book, Volume 3 for the Mineral Springs Hotel, is going to be out here in just a couple days. So just to recap, we have volumes 1 and 2 here. And what's going on with these, basically this one right here, part of the proceeds go to help the Goldenrod Showboat. Yes, it's in dire straits right now and may soon no longer exist, but what will happen with the proceeds from this book that are being directed toward that is, you know, they're looking at things like setting up a museum, because they do have a number of the artifacts and things like that off the boat. So this will still go to aid them even if it's going to be a museum. We hope it doesn't come to that, but if it does, the funds that are supposed to go directed to the Goldenrod will still go to the Goldenrod in some capacity. So the new book, Encounters with the Paranormal Volume 3, the same thing will be happening for the Mineral Springs Hotel in Alton, Illinois, which almost met the wrecking ball last year. Part of the proceeds from that book will also go to help the Mineral Springs Hotel. So we're really looking forward to that. That one is going to be the red book. We have blue, we have brown. That one's done in red. Some people have said that the way it looks is as if you're viewing It's a historic photo that's on the cover, and it's as if you are viewing that building through a full spectrum camera from across the street. So kind of cool. But that is our red book, and that's out here in a couple days. So that's all I have. Thank you for joining me for Thank you for joining me for the morning mug as I almost knock it over and spill coffee all over the place. Until next time. Oh, and why do I always forget this stuff? Speaking of these books, there's going to be the book release event at the Mineral Springs Hotel in Ulm, October 28th, 2017. Go check it out. So come out to that. Till next time. Now I just got it up my nose.